So, what I would like to discuss with you, Marcel, before we begin, let's just talk a bit about new meta, about the new season 2. So first of all, about weapons. So what do you think about the L-Star? Do you think it's really powerful? Is it good? So what do you feel?
Yeah, so at first, everyone was thinking, it's really strong because the damage output it has is pretty crazy. Now, if you actually use it, there's, a couple of things that balance it. First of all, it basically has no range. So when they said the bullets drop down more than the other ones, they definitely didn't, over-exaggerate. It's really impossible to aim more than 40, 50 meters with it. So it's really a close-range weapon.
Hard.
Yeah, exactly. It's really a close-range weapon. However, in close range, if you manage to use it in a fight against someone in a building or something like that, it really shreds them, and it has really high damage output. So for that, it's really strong and just kind of a...
So the best usage for the L-Star is the close range or inside the buildings?
Yeah, exactly. So definitely close range.
What about other changes in the weapons? Because they changed a lot.
Yeah, so first, when the season came out, they had the disruptor rounds that were really OP, but they already fixed them a bit. And now the alternator seems to be pretty balanced compared to, the R99 like it was before. The snipers, especially the triple take, got a pretty significant buff with the precision choke, so it's actually pretty strong now. The other snipers, the longbow, is just as strong as before. It's definitely still viable. All the, weapons that were good before the patch are still pretty good, like the R99, the carbine, the wingman, all those types of weapons. And now the energy weapons seem to definitely be much more viable. Overall, I feel like I'm finding more turbochargers. Maybe they changed the drop rate on those. And in general, the magazines, they help quite a lot on, the Havoc and the Devotion. So overall, seems to be a pretty decent weapon meta now, especially, with the hammer point and the disruptor attachments. It's kind of situational weapons. If you like to play them, they are viable. They're not, OP anymore.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. So let's move on to the other changes. So what do you feel about the new legend Watson? Because it's so many hype around it, and actually I personally love it. So what do you feel about it?
Yeah, so Watson is so Watson is definitely really strong. The higher you go in the ladder, you will notice almost everyone plays her. The main reason being her ultimate. Her ultimate is basically used for countering grenades. The healing shields is decent if you get poked and stuff like that. You don't need to waste shields, so it's pretty strong. But in fights, the ultimate is mainly used to counter grenades, because we mentioned this, fairly often before. The grenades in this game are really, really strong, especially because there's no limit on how many you can carry, especially arc stars. Countering those, it's definitely really strong. And the defense really helps holding buildings and, holding chokes, stuff like that. And with the other changes to the other, heroes and legends, the Caustic, for example, works pretty well with her. If you have Caustic and Watson, you can, almost guarantee to hold a building and almost no one will be able to kill you. So it's really strong. And, the other changes to every other legend, they seem pretty decent as well. The overall, balance seems to be much better now. And also one little thing that changed for Bangalore, she didn't actually get any changes, any buffs or nerf. She stood the same. However, the Skull Piercer is now golden, and because the digital threat is also golden, they share the same loot pool, so there's less digital threats in the game, which makes Bangalore a little bit stronger by, indirect change.
Yeah. Thank you, Marcel. It's pretty interesting to hear the view of the professional player. So, okay, about the new environments and actually a new map, because so many changes on the map. So what do you feel? Is it, well, I think it's much more fun to play right now. So what do you think in terms of esports and just in general?
Yeah, so obviously, having something new is definitely going to be, exciting. Overall, I think the map changes, they make the map more lively, much less boring. If you compare, for example, the desert area on the west side of the map to, the newer forest areas and stuff like that, it's, kind of boring now in the desert. There's very open space and stuff like that. So hopefully, the next season will have changes to that as well, because I, really like the new areas. Also in terms of competitive, they seem to have made some balance changes for certain areas, such as the cage. It kind of counters another high ground that used to be really, really strong. And overall, it's really fun to play. And, a little side note, if you pay attention to the dinos, they lift their leg sometimes, and there's, loot below it. And obviously that's kind of random. However, if you shoot the leg, a bunch of times, you can actually trigger it to lift its leg. So, if you want to grab some armor from below it or something like that.
Also, if you use the grapple in the leg of it, you can also jump very, very high in the period when he just level up the leg. You just can jump through all the map, so it's pretty funny. Yeah.